How are you
Got it.
doing?
We got it. I'm
Yes,
doing good. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you said 8 o'clock. Is that AM or PM?
This is 8 o'clock at night in the UK.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's well, it's still light because it's kind of spring,
Yeah.
so it's getting a little lighter at night. But yeah, it's night. It's night
Oh,
ish.
crazy. Yeah, it's always
Early.
right. Yeah, it's always crazy to me the different time differences. My son takes guitar lessons with someone in Australia, and it's 9 p.m. our like when he takes our time, but it's 2 o'clock the next day for him. It always throws me off.
Dave. Uh, well, Dave Ted has been great, but he's been sending us loads of Zoom meetings to do and interviews and things. And sometimes you have to set your alarm for like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and you have to get out of bed.
No,
Get
you're
out of
right.
bed.
Those times are off limits, Dave.
Luckily, I don't have to do my hair anymore. So
That makes it easy then. Except for I think I would have a
yeah,
hard time like getting my brain going enough to answer the questions.
yeah, it's like wow, yeah, but you get used to it. You get used to it. It's been real. Actually, it's been just so much fun with this album, talking to loads of people in the States and some really nice people. It's been good fun. It's been
That's
great.
that's so great. So have you been doing clear back since because you released the album back in September? Have you been doing
It was meant to be. It was meant to come out in September, but where there was a few production kind of difficulties in production, so it got pushed back. It only got released about 4 weeks ago.
that makes more sense because I was like, why is he promoting this now when it's
We
been
are
so many
promote.
months?
It got postponed. We had this thing with production because when we do it, we have like we have an artist and we have like the booklet and we have we make a big shaboo of it, and we had a few problems with production, so it got pushed back a few, but it was worth it because
Oh, of course.
we're really happy with the final product. Dave's a great guy to work with, so
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, it's been
So
good.
four
Been good.
weeks, yeah, makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
How has the response been so far?
do you know what? It's been absolutely awesome. I mean, we've just had so many good reviews, and we've been up and down. We've been to Scotland in the UK, which we're based in Nottingham in the UK. Robin Hood kind of Sherwood Forest and all that sort of thing. That's about half an hour that way.
Oh
Sherwood Forest, and all that sort of stuff. So we've been traveling to Scotland, which is at the other end of the country, which is like a 6-7 hour drive. So we've been playing in Scotland and Newcastle, all over really. We just yeah, it's just been great.
that's fun. That's fun. And there's three of you, so that makes it
Just
probably a little bit easier to get
to
everybody.
navigate.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
less people you have to deal with in a band situation, the better.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
because you have to kind of line yeah, the logistics of getting everybody, to because we still work, so we have to kind of get time off work to do it, and we have to, navigate our real life around it, at the moment. But it's great. We're doing lots of work, so that's cool.
That's awesome. What can people expect from your live shows?
When you come and see BlitZ, well, the whole idea about BlitZ was when we got together, we wanted to play the kind of music that kind of inspired us to pick up instruments in the first place. Like we we were kind of Kiss and Van Halen and a lot of the bands that kind of made us want to Queen. We're massive Queen fans as well. Early Queen, and we wanted to be that kind of band that you went when you saw anybody could come and watch us and have a really good time. You have a few beers, you get involved in the show, we get everybody singing, and we do this crazy thing. We have at the end of the set, we have this big banner, and it's got like a chorus line from one of our songs called "I Believe," and it says on this, it's got a big picture of our three heads in cartoon form, and it said and it says they can't take our rock and roll in big letters. Which is easy thing to remember, right? But what we do, we play this whole thing where we get the audience, and this when they're singing away, we say, no, you can do better than that. We knew, so we get this big banner out, we get the audience to hold it up, and we all sing, "They can't take our rock and roll." But it's a kind of we want it to be a band that gets the audience involved and lots of participation and a real party in a cool way. Like when you see video with like early Van Halen with David Lee Roth, and you see all the great performers that really grab an audience. That's what kind of band we want it to be. And luckily, I'm a massive show off, so it works for me really well.
No, I think that's important for a live show. People want to have fun. People are there to have the night off from their regular
Yeah,
work.
because you switch on the TV and it's everything's the world's a bit of a kind of dark place at the moment. So why not come to a BlitZ show and have a cool time, and just forget about the world for a couple of hours and just walk out the room singing, and that's not what we are. We're very inspired by there was a British band called Slade back in the day, way back in the day, and their big thing was grabbing an audience, and we're inspired by a lot of things like that. We wanted to bring a bit of that back, that sense of I'm going to a show, and as a band playing, because we're kicking up a storm. Our new album is we are recording now, aren't we?
Yes.
Have we started? That's
yes.
good. That's good. I thought we were just talking, but
that's usually how I do interviews. Conversational.
Well, yeah. So the new album, Kicking Up a Storm, is our fourth album, because the first album's called Welcome to the Rock Show. The second album's called Fight to Survive. Then we did a live album called Take No Prisoners. So as far as studio albums are concerned, this is our third album, but we have also done a live album called Take No Prisoners. If people want to go on Spotify and have a listen, we'd sooner you track the album down and buy a copy and keep us on the road, because that would be great.
Yeah,
that would keep us out on the road if you bought a t-shirt or a CD. I'm not doing the Gene Simmons thing here because that guy's got enough money,
yeah.
We're just trying to stay on the road and be able to pay to get out there and travel and do our thing,
Of course,
and it's hard when you're a band playing your own music, especially rock music now. It's really hard work because there's no big labels anymore, and there's no you have to do it all yourself, and with that comes a lot of control. So that's great. You get more control over your music, the kind of direction you want your music to go in. But the downside of that is we kind of self-managed as such. We've been looking for a manager for a while, but every time we talk to management, we kind of walk away from thinking, well, there's nothing we can't do ourselves here. We can do this. It's just a case of it's a lot of when there's three of you and you write your own music and you go out and put a show on and you play. The management side of it would be nice for just to help with the logistics, to help with this has been sorted out. And that, I mean, luckily Dave Tedder's come along and he's sorted a lot of this out for us. He's put together the label. He's put he's worked with Vanity Music, and he's just been a pleasure to work with. He's a lovely guy, and with his help, we've been able to get more of a reach with distribution on this album. So it's out on all the platforms. You can get it on Spotify. You can get the hard copies of buy the hard copy of the CD. We have a guy called Dave Hurst who does all our artwork, and he's a really great artist. And we kind of, if anybody's seen our stuff in the past, they'll know that we're kind of well known for our artwork. It's kind of a cross between the kind of Marvel and the manga. We mash it all up. So, we do a lot of that work ourselves. We've got an in-house artist. We've got a lady who does all our photography called Heather Burns. And we're just so lucky to have a good crew of people around us, and as a band playing our own music,
makes a big difference.
that makes a massive difference, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So when did you start singing and when did you start playing bass?
Well, the first thing I ever did was I started by playing guitar. Um, the story goes, when I was a child, on my right hand, as you can see, I've
Yeah.
got a finger missing. I lost a finger,
Oh,
and
geez.
that I don't. You can cover your ears up if you want for this bit, but a door got slammed on my hand when I was a kid, and I lost a finger.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
geez.
yeah. But I can do that sort of thing. Anyway, the point being, uh, when I was 11 years old, I bought a copy of Kiss Destroyer. Or I saved all my pocket money up, and I went into the local record store, the Woolworths store. We used to have Woolworths back then, and I picked up a copy of Destroyer, and it's just got the best cover on it. They look like superheroes, like on the cover. And I went to buy it at the counter. I was there. I was this 11-year-old boy with a big bag of change, all my pocket money through mowing the lawn, And the lady behind the counter, because I was with my mum at the time. The lady behind, goes, "Oh, you don't want that." She was a bit shocked by the cover, so she tried to sell me. She tried to sell me ABBA. So
Oh my gosh, lady, you shouldn't be working in a record store.
what are you doing?
Hmm.
So I got in a bit of a no, 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 I want this. So my mum said, no, give him the record he wants, So
Good for
I
her.
ended up with Kiss Destroyer, and it just started me off. It was the band that kind of started me off, and then I got into playing. I wanted to play guitar, and I lost my finger. I thought I'm not going to be able to do this because am I going to be able to do this? I've got a finger missing. And then I went to school, I had this really cool music teacher, and he said, "Nah, man, you're going to be fine." So I started to learn guitar. I picked it up quite well, and then I wanted to join a band, and everybody wanted a bass player. It was just that thing. Everybody wanted a bass player. And I've spent all this time learning how to play guitar. So my first school band, I played bass, and I got this reputation. So, oh, he's a really good bass player. And from that little beginning, uh, I became the bass guy. I was the guy people phone up and say, "Yeah, do you want a gig?" Yeah, yeah. And so I'd turn up and play bass, and I ended up doing all sorts of things. And I just became the bass guy. And then um, later on, when I started to write my own songs, when you're writing your own songs, it always helps if you've got if you sing along, you kind of writing the vocal melodies. I'd be joining bands, and I'd be saying to the singer, "No, try this, do this." And then eventually, I was in a band, and somebody said, "Well, you write all the vocal melodies. Why don't you sing it?" And that's literally how it started. So vocals came late. Vocals came later because it was just one of those things. I was writing a lot of the parts anyway, so well, you just play bass and sing. So that's how it kind of all came together.
How funny, all accidental. Do you still play guitar
Yeah,
sometimes in your spare time?
yeah. I mean, the way that BlitZ writes, I mean, we all write, we all contribute, we all demo songs, we all write songs. So yeah, we all throw songs at each other all the time, and then we'll demo a song, and then we'll go into a studio, and we'll hone it down, and we'll play with the arrangement a bit, and you know easy guys to work with. I can say, I think the three of us connect really well. Um, uh, we do. We connect well. We work well together, and we've been together for like 6 years, whatever. And we've just got a good rhythm. Not all like most relationships. Sometimes there's a bit of a rub.
Of course, of course.
Sometimes, but that's what makes it cool. That's what it's like. Sometimes it's like playing football or soccer, as you would say. You've got to be prepared to throw the ball to another team member and then them throw it back. And I think it's when you're songwriting or you're putting together a show, you've got to surrender your ego a bit and just think it's all about the. We always think the most important thing is the song, and the most important thing is the audience. So there's no use walking in with this is my. I'm the man attitude. You've got to kind of be able to listen to other people's opinions, I think, a little bit, and just look. You can try it, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it's not hurt. It's not hurt a thing, has it? So we
Right.
kind of, when we rock, we save the egos for the stage, which is which is something that Jizzy Pearl said to me many years ago. Did some gigs with Love Hate in the UK, and always, it's something I always live by now, is save the ego for the stage. So we are who we are when we're not on stage, which I like to think, we we're pretty cool guys, and then we get on stage, and that's when the show comes.
Right. Yeah, it's the way it
And
should be.
that way you kind of keep your sanity, and
Right.
you don't. Yeah,
Tell me about the song I'll Find You in Yesterday. That seems like a very personal and emotional song.
that song literally came by the story of when I was 14. I really, like guys did, we swap records and music. Have you listened to this album? You'd be swapping um, live bootleg by Aerosmith for Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous and Kiss Alive, and The Song Remains the Same by Led Zeppelin. And you'd be swapping all these albums. And I had this friend, his name was Neil North. His nickname was Noddy for some reason. Noddy was his nickname. He'd love me. And then we kind of, as you do, you get older, and you'll go on your paths. And he went on his path, and I found out he'd passed away, and it was a while ago. I found out he'd passed away, and I didn't get to his funeral. And I wrote this song kind of for him, but it's also about how music shapes who you are, and it can take you on this journey where the people that you meet, and the places you go, and the situations you find yourself talking to, people in America, like Nika Rogers, and you've never met before in your life, and there you are, on the Metal Nation show talking. And I think that's the cool thing about music. I've done a lot of cool things with music in my life, but the thing I take away from it most of all is the people and the places. So this song is about that, and anybody who can listen to this song and can relate to that, they might have met somebody through music. They might have, the music might have given them a career. I mean, it kind of worked for me in a lot of ways. In my day job, I work with young people with disabilities, and
Oh,
music kind of, yeah, I do like music therapy and things. So that kind of, it flooded into my whole life. So it's about that. It's about music, about rock music, and how it's such a cool thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that your kid's learning how to play guitar, and you probably meet cool people through it. And rock music used to have this thing, it's the devil's music, and it's all about drugs and blah blah blah. And do you know what? And I've been doing it all my life, and I've just met so many cool people. And if you see a bad situation, you just walk away from it. You don't get involved in it. Never did the drug thing. Just music is my drug. And that's the way it is. That's the way it should be.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what that song is about. It's about the love of music, and it's about a friend who kind of got me, introduced me to a lot of music I'd not heard through exchanging music and records back in the day. So yeah, I found you in yesterday's thinking about all that, and what got me to this now.
Yeah. I like that. That's really cool. Outside of that song, where is your lyrical inspiration usually come from?
Oh, lots of places. I think if you write lyrics, you see it. You can see a title for a song. Um, Somebody will say something, and you'll think that's a great title. I'm always writing down. I've got a big list of titles, and I just think that's a cool thing. And I
Yeah.
think, I heard one. I heard one, and I wrote some lyrics today. So what was it? Somebody was saying. Somebody was. It's like if you listen, if you look at Kicking Up a Storm, our new album, that literally come from somebody saying, "You guys don't half kick up a storm on stage," and that's where that came from.
That's awesome.
Somebody might say something, or have a cool turn of phrase, and that's what. Or you might be reading a book, and you might take something from it. All lyrics. Sometimes lyrics aren't about you as a situation; they're about wow, that sounds really cool, you know. That
Mhm.
sounds like a cool lyric. Sometimes it's not as in depth as people think. Like, think, wow. I mean, Breakneck, the
For
opening track on the album is quite a
Mhm.
rocky track, and
Mhm.
that's simply about when you're driving back from a gig and it's 4 in the morning and you may be putting your foot down on the pedal to get home, and you're thinking about, you know, life and the universe and everything, and that's what you're traveling at breakneck speed, you know, to get back to your life, and that's kind of those lyrics fill that as well.
Mhm.
So
That is
sometimes we're with the next thing as a single, because there's been quite a few singles on Kicking Up a Storm. If people want to check them out,
Mhm.
the next single is going to be it's a song called Cog,
Oh, nice.
which is crawling on glass, and
Oh,
that's we're just putting a little bit of a lyric video together. That's going to be around early July. We're going to put that out.
nice.
But if people want to check out, there's a song on there called Freddie Said, which we dedicated to Queen, the band.
Mhm.
Uh,
That
there's
was a
there's
fun
another
video.
there's a band. If you check the video out for that,
Yeah, it's a fun one. You can tell it's definitely a
yeah,
homage to
we
Freddie
had such a
Mercury.
cool time doing that. And
Mm.
then there's another single on there called Keep Moving On.
Mhm.
And again, there's loads of videos from this album that are already out there. So if people want to check those out, that'd be great.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, that Freddie Mercury one I thought was a really fun one. And then the We're All Right video was really cool too. How you had a bunch of
Yeah, that's
oh,
strange that you should. It's strange you should mention that song, because that song we recorded that. It's like a little bit of a thing that we never actually put on an album. What it
mhm,
was, during COVID, we couldn't be together,
mhm.
so we did something online where we recorded it all uh, over the internet, not without being in the same room. And Matt had to use electronic drum kit. Production value is not great on that song, so but
So fun though.
we never re-recorded it. We
Mhm.
never went back and went into a big studio and re-recorded that song. A lot of people ask about that song, but we've never re-recorded it. You know, it was great when we did it, and we got loads of people to hold up signs saying we're all right, because we had
Yes.
lots of fans that lots of gigs we couldn't. Lots of gigs got cancelled
Mhm.
because of the COVID thing. You know, nobody could be in a room together, and so it was a great way to reconnect with like the rock community. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was really a really smart way of doing things for so many different reasons, not just because it's a fun video and there's fans that get to participate, but also just during that time, you know, I think we all needed music even more than the average time of our life. And thankfully people were still creating music and putting music out there. And that one in particular was an all-inclusive, not only just with your fans,
yeah,
but just
we,
like the
we do
world.
we do a lot of things. We do a lot of things where we try and bring the fans in, or
That's
should I say,
cool.
people who like our music. I don't like fans. It sounds a bit, doesn't it? Sounds a bit crazy. So what we've
Thoughtful
done what
response.
what we've done with the new with the song off the new album, the single called "We Are the Power." What we did is we did a gig and we got everybody to film when we played it. Everybody to film on the phones. Then we got everybody who filmed various footage, the audience. They sent the footage to us. We edited it. Well, Kev, our guitarist, is the wizard with all this.
Very
He
cool.
edited it all together. Yeah. So if you look at the "We Are the Power" video, all we did was edit that footage. All that footage comes from the audience. So
Crazy.
we do a lot. Yeah, we do a lot of things like that.
That's cool.
You're nothing if you don't get the support of the people. You're nothing, are you? Really? What's the point doing pulling the big rock star schniggle if you can't? You know,
Right.
it's all about the music. And when you get on stage, you get up there and you're out there to put a show on. You're out there to kill, and that's obvious, isn't it? You put the work in, and you're up to do it. But when you're not up there, you know, you're just three guys who love rock and roll. Really,
Yeah.
that's who we are.
Right. Right. Yeah. Such a humble response. Something I like to ask everybody because I think it's really important. What are some things you do for self-care to kind of keep yourself balanced, to keep yourself, especially when you're working in a job that's very fulfilling, but also very stressful. I've been in that field before as well, and it's the most rewarding job, but it's very stressful as well. Plus, you're doing music on top of it. So, what are some things that you do to keep yourself
I think
balanced?
sometimes you have to remind yourself why you do things, and I think sometimes take that time out for yourself and remember how lucky. Oh God, this is getting a bit deep, isn't it? Remember how lucky we are that we're all above ground and we breathe in, and how lucky we are that you've got people who love you, and how lucky you are that your kids are okay and your family's okay, and if they're not okay, you know, it just reminds you sometimes, life's a fragile thing, and I think you know it doesn't mean you're a weak person if now and again you have to kind of pull yourself away and just have a little bit of time to think. I think reflect on the good things that have happened in your life as well. Reflect on the cool people you've met and reflect on um the cool stuff, because there is a lot of cool stuff and there's a lot of going forward. There's a song we've got called Keep Moving On the new album, and that is a simple message. And whatever life throws at you, don't look back, keep looking forward. And there's always somebody who's going to rip on you. Anybody who's successful, there's always an army of haters. Forget about all that. Switch your phone off for a bit. A lot of these people only exist on this thing anyway. They don't exist in real life. So remind yourself why you do things. It's like rock and roll. It's the love of my life. It's been such a good, it's been such a positive force for me. It's helped me through my darkest times. Rock and roll has helped me when I thought I'm on my lowest low. It's opened a door and said, hey, things aren't that bad. You might have lost your hair, but you can always wear a bandana.
No one would be the wiser. I love it. I love it.
It is what it is. There's a lot. The world, like I say, you switch on the TV, the world's a messed up place at the minute, I think. Remember, yeah, we've all been there. A lot of this stuff has happened before. You've just got to have a bit of blind faith in mankind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all want. The funny thing is, we all want the same thing. We all want to be loved. We want good things for the people we love. We want good things. Don't prescribe to any political blah blah because they're all blah 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 blah. I think we all want the same thing. We all want a good life. We all want to be happy. We want good things for our kids. We want good things for the people around us. So why make life hard? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. 100%. I think sometimes people get too caught up in the things that are outside of their control instead of focusing on the things that are closer to
Let's
their control.
let's remember, get yourself to a BlitZ show, get yourself to a good rock show, enjoy yourself for a night. You might meet somebody, you might have a good time, you might,
Right.
like life's like that. It can be like that if you want it to be like that. I think sometimes I'm sounding like a therapist here. You should really stop
You
me.
know what's funny? I actually am a therapist, so that's really funny because
Really?
yes, and it's funny because I was sitting there thinking these are things that I would be saying to clients. So yes, you do, and that's not a. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I'm just saying it's sometimes it's more simple than you think. Just positive, think positive. Fine, it don't have to be music either. You might write, you might be an artist, you might just we've all got our thing. We've all got our thing.
Yeah.
Embrace life. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
precious, isn't it? Life is so precious. It's brilliant. I love life. It's great.
I love that. I think that's like one of the most important messages. What is a message that you would want to say to the younger inspiring musicians that are wanting to play rock and metal? Especially because unfortunately still there are still people who believe that the rock and metal genre are satanic, which I was so shocked, but my son is dealing with that right now. And I was so
Oh
shocked that
my
that was still
God.
even a thing. I thought that was clear back in the 80s.
Oh
But
my
what are some
God.
things for like inspiration or whatever for these younger people that are trying to make their way in the music world?
Do you know the great thing about rock music? What drew me to it was like, the Alice Coopers and the Kiss and a lot of these bands that put on larger than life show. And if you're putting a larger, like, if you go and see a movie, you go and see a horror movie, it's a movie. It's
Yeah.
entertainment. And it's as simple as that. Now, Alice Cooper, I'm not sure whether he's a religious. I think he's a religious guy. Him and his wife are religious, and I think that's cool. And he says in a lot of his interviews, Alice Cooper says, I get on stage, I put a show on, people enjoy it. And it's meant to be entertainment. It's meant to be when you read a book can be a lot of things. It's entertainment. I mean, I've never took. I've always found rock music as an interesting place to escape to,
Mhm.
and there's lots of. It's because there's lots of. You've got glam, you've got thrash, you've got you know all these different kinds of metal, and you've got rock and roll kind of sounding things, and I just think it's just music to lose yourself into. And people said the same thing about Elvis, and they said the
Mhm.
same thing about Jerry Lee Lewis back in the day, and they'll say the next everything. Just it's just music. You can either like it or you don't.
Right, right.
It's just simple. Neither like it or don't like it.
Right.
It's just music. And the thing about what I love about rock music is it's musicians playing their own instruments. It's like you've got bass, drums, and guitar and vocals, and it's got that's what rock and roll means to me. Rock and roll means, as Billy Joel says, it's just rock and roll to me. It really is just it's just rock and roll. It's real people playing real music.
Yeah.
No backing tapes,
Mhm.
no, and you watch the skill in some of these metal and rock guitar players. The skill is amazing,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about. It's good to go to a show, when you look at the way back in the day, all that 80s scene, with Motley Crue and Def Leppard and all that. If you listen, it's the vibe of it is all good time music.
Mhm.
It doesn't, you know, you don't, I can't imagine anybody worshipping the devil to pour some sugar on me by Def Leppard. It's such an uplift. It's such an uplifting rock and roll song that anybody
Right.
can relate to, and it's
Mhm.
just chill. It's just rock and roll. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Right. I agree 100%. Well, thank you so much. I know it's late there. Thank you so much for taking this time with me. It's been really fun chatting with you.
Thank you, Nika. Thanks for supporting new music. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good rest of your night.
Well, yeah, thank you, and thanks to Metal Nation, and yeah, by kicking up a storm by BlitZ. Bring
Yes.
some sun into your life.
Yes. Bring some more happiness into your life.
Thank you so much, Nika. Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Later.